Hello, welcome. I'm Andreas, your tech-curious web designer. In this tutorial, we will push our code to GitHub and then deploy our Django application to a web server connected to a PostgreSQL and Redis database. As a web server, I will use Railway because it's easy to set up and provides storage to test media file uploads. But before we get started, if you like this content, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon. This helps me to grow this channel and to reach more aspiring web developers. And if you want to support my work financially, you can subscribe to my Patreon page and get access to exclusive content. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Okay, and now without further ado, let's dive in. A big thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, buymeacoffee.com and on YouTube. And a special shout out to my newest supporter Lex. Thank you so much for your support. Git and GitHub are version control tools that keep track of the history of your code, so they are very useful to include in your workflow from the start. GitHub also makes deploying a Django application easier, because many hosting platforms, such as Railway, can detect changes in the code and automatically deploy your project to production. When pushing code to GitHub, it is important to include only the files and folders we actually need in production, and to never include the .env file, because it contains sensitive data. For this, we first create a gitignore file, which lists files and folders that are only needed in the local development environment and should be ignored by Git. So in the project root, I create a new file, .gitignore. So in here I list the VNV folder, the virtual environment we only need locally in development. Then we have the media folder with all the media files. In production we need to choose a service to host our media files. Then we have the bycache folder. So these are just cached files which we don't need in production. Then we have the local SQLite database. This will be replaced with a PostgreSQL database. Then we have the .env file with all our environment variables. We will add those environment variables directly on the web server to keep them secret. And the store is a hidden system file specifically for Mac users, which should be ignored as well. Okay, I save this file. Next we add Git to the project. If Git is not yet installed on your machine, you can download it from the official website. This allows you to use Git from the command line. Or alternatively, you can also install the GitHub desktop application, which is my preferred way of working with Git. So once Git is installed, we can create a new Git repository for our project. So in the terminal, I write git init. With this command, Git creates a hidden Git folder to record the project's history. Here we see untracked files in green and ignored files in gray. And to track those files, we need to commit them. So I open up the GitHub desktop application, add my project as a local repository, and then connect it to my GitHub account. Here I can see all the new or changed files I have to commit. So I have to give this commit a name in the required summary field here. And then I press the commit button at the bottom. Now the files are recorded in Git's history. As next we push them to the online repository, so they are available on GitHub. So I click this button here. Here we give the repository in GitHub a name. I keep this code private and publish this repository. The code is now on GitHub and ready to be deployed on a web server. As next, I create a PostgreSQL database on Railway. So here I'm going to Databases, to PostgreSQL, and this is creating here a fresh instance of a PostgreSQL database. As next, let's migrate the tables to here. For this, we need first to establish a connection, so I'm going to the Variables tab here. Grab here the database public URL. With this we can connect to the database from outside Railway. and paste it to my env file. This URL has all the credentials needed to connect to this database. So let's save this file. As next, let's migrate the tables. I'm going to the settings.py file. I change Postgres locally now to true. Save the file. And now I run the migrate command. So this created now the tables in the remote PostgreSQL database. As next, we create an admin user. With Python manage.py create super user. I add admin as the username, email address, and password. And now the super user is created. And the PostgreSQL is set up. And now we can change back to false. And on Railway, we can see that the tables have been created. As next, we create the Redis database, which we use for the real-time chat. So here under Database, I click on Redis. Then to get the Redis URL, I click again on Variables. Here we don't need the Redis public URL, because in development locally we can use the in-memory channel layer. So I grab here the value for the Redis URL and save it in the environment variables. As next, we create a web server. We could connect here directly to the GitHub repository and deploy the code, but this would result in a server error because the environment variables have not been set up yet. So I choose here empty service instead. This is giving me this new service. We can also change the name of the service. I call it TikTok-clone. Later on, we will connect to our GitHub repository. But here I will generate now a domain. This domain will be generated when I apply the changes. Here we can choose our preferred region. In the custom build command, we could add commands like collect static or migrate. But for the application to actually run, we need to add our custom start command. We use Daphne as our application server. We bind all the network interfaces, which is required for cloud platforms like Railway, where applications run inside a virtual machine or containers. Next, we specify the port number, which is provided via an environment variable automatically set by Railway. And finally, we define where the application lives in our project, pointing to the application object inside the ASCII.py file in the core folder. Okay, then I click here Save. And then we apply the changes by clicking the Deploy button. And this generated now our domain, which we can also rename if the domain is available. Alright, and this is our domain. Let's copy it because we need it in a second. As next, we add the environment variables. I copy all the environment variables from the local env file. Then on Railway, I go to the Variables tab. Here I click on Raw Editor and paste them in here. Then I change here environment to production. Here under allowed host, we add the domain we just created. And under the CRF trusted origins, we have the same domain with the HTTPS protocol in front. Okay, then I click the button Update Variables and click Deploy. Okay, and with this we are ready to connect with the GitHub repository. So I'm going to Settings, Connect Repo. Here I select the GitHub repository for this project and click Deploy. Now Railway automatically fetches the code from GitHub, builds the application and deploys it. This process could take a couple of minutes. Alright, and now the application is deployed. Let's check it out. I go to the generated domain, and as we can see, the website is up and running. Let's log in as the admin. And here we have a fresh installation of our Django application. With the first notification, the welcome message. Let's test the real-time chat, but because there is no email host set up yet, we can create a second user in the admin interface. I go to Users, add a new user, and add Bobby as a new user. Alright. And here on the right, I'm logged into Bobby's account using a different browser. Let's write a message to the admin, find here the admin account, and write a message. The admin got a new notification, and he got a new message from Bobby. And the message is broadcasted in real time and is using Redis as the message broker. Nice. So far, I've not set up a media storage, so when uploading an image now, I will get a server error. However, Railway offers a 5 GB storage to store media files. This is great for prototyping, testing, or for very small websites. And this storage is called volume. I attach this volume to my web service, and then I define the path. And because our app on Railway lives in a directory called app by default, I add here app to the path. And then we click deploy. Alright, now the volume is mounted to our web service. As next we need to add some configuration to our app to choose this volume as the media storage. So in the settings.py file, I'm going to the media configuration. So for now we will not use AWS's S3 bucket, so I comment out this configuration and switch the media route to this volume on Railway. So if the environment is development, our media route is the media folder in the base directory. Else, if it's in production, we're using this path. In addition to this, we also need to configure the media URL. So I'm going to the main urls.py file. Here at the bottom, we have the configuration to serve the media files in development. And now we add the configuration for production. So add here else, I import here the serve module, and define the URL patterns for the media files. This URL pattern tells Django to serve media files from the directory on the file system that we have mounted as a volume on Railway. In case you switch to a dedicated media server, you should remove this URL pattern again, because the media server will handle all the media file serving automatically. Okay, save this file. Now let's push those changes to GitHub and deploy it again on the web server. I add a summary commit those two files, and push to GitHub. And Railway detects those changes and will automatically build a new instance of the application and deploy it. Okay, when this is done, we can test it again. I drag and drop our image and submit post. And now the image is stored in a volume and the post is created successfully. We can also upload an avatar now. And let's also test with uploading a video. Nice! We successfully deployed our web application to the internet. To finalize this application, we can add further a dedicated media hosting service, purchasing a custom domain, and setting up an email hosting provider. But this is all for this video. In the next tutorial, we will create a Docker file to streamline the continuous integration and deployment workflow, so that we don't have to manually run commands each time we deploy our application. If you like this content, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to click the bell icon, not to miss the next one. I hope to see you there. Until then, happy coding my friends, and bye bye for now.